Hi, I'm Chris Slogar. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and you can find me on the web at buckeyeinklings.com. I post ideas there regularly, and there's also an online store there, so if there's anything that you see in this video that you're interested in, I use Stampin' Up! Products, and I would love to have your support there in the store. This is a fun fold that we made in club this weekend, and this is the actual sample that took a dive into the cherry cobbler ink, but still great for demonstration. Looks, I think, more intricate and interesting than it is difficult to make. So I love this kind of thing where you get a lot of bang for really the amount of work you put in. It's kind of deceiving. So love that. Love the stamp set, which is a stamp set that I totally overlooked at first. It's called Berry Mary in the holiday catalog. Didn't really get it at first, kind of like the Joy. Didn't know what this clump was, how to use it. Turns out these are all individual little stamps that you can use. They're clear so that you can really build easily with them. And you can use them to make this great wreath, as I'm going to show you in a little bit. We will tackle the fold first and then get to the, I think the fun part is the wreath stamping. So let's get going on that. The mechanism of the fold is just what you see here. One slit and a bunch of scores. Okay, so I think when you see me do it on a video, you're going to see that it's much easier than you would imagine if you saw it in a diagram and a lot of text. So let me get my trimmer out. This is where it's important to have a trimmer with a pointed blade and a marker for starting and stopping at certain points. Okay, the rotary arm is not going to cut it because, well, it will cut it, but you're not going to be able to measure your starts and stops and also score in the right places. So you definitely want this original arm that comes with the trimmer. Okay, so what we're going to do is start with a piece of white cardstock that measures 4 inches by 10 1/4 inches. Okay, and what I've done in this particular case is locate this fold, or I'm sorry, this cut halfway through that width. You could make a card with a thicker section here or a thinner section here, but I've chosen to go halfway, so that will make it easy. You're cutting a slit 5 inches long at a designated place. I'll show you here. You're going to put the cardstock at the 2-inch mark and get that set, and then take your blade down to 2.5 inches. Okay, oops, I'm sorry, I moved the cardstock. Okay, so get that lined up again. At 2.5 inches, we are going to start cutting. We're going for 5 inches, so we're going from 2.5 to 7.5. And we're stopping. That's it. Okay, this is the one cut you're making. This section here is a little wider than this section, and that will be the front of the card. So we're going to swing the cardstock this way and do our scoring now. Okay, on the front section of the card, you need a score only in the top half. So we're going to put the edge of the card at 2 3/4, and that will bring the end of our line to the track, the line that we cut. And we're going to use a scoring blade and score between 0 and all the way up to 2 inches, which is where our cut line is. Okay, then we are going to move over to 5 1/4. And we need a full height score there. Okay, that is the score where the top is going to poke in and the bottom is going to poke out. Okay, so you do need the full line scored. Then you're going to slide over to 7 3/4, and that will line up the track with the end of our cut line, and we just need a score from 2 inches to 4 inches there. Okay, so I've done that, and that is the hard part. Okay, we're done. Now it's all fun from here on out. And that wasn't even that bad, right? Okay, so when we look at this, this is going to be the front of the card. I'm sorry, my thumbnail is yellow from cleaning a pomegranate earlier. That looks terrible. Okay, I'm sorry. All right, let's back to the card. This front, the upper section is going to fold this way. The next section will fold the other way. The next, or I'm sorry, the score along the bottom then is getting forced out as it should be. And the last one is going to fold in. And all of a sudden this starts to come together. I'm going to force it a little. I mean, this isn't the most precise way. You know, I'm forcing the ends to meet here. They're basically meeting, but I'm pulling on them just a little bit in case my score line is just a tad off or something. But I'm forcing this all to lay nicely in line. On the back, you'll see this section is a little narrower. That's just how the dimensions work out. Okay, so there you have it. That's your whole mechanism for the card. Okay, real quick now. I am going to decorate the front of that with, I've already put this together. This is Merry Moments, I think, designer series paper. It's 1.5 inches by 5 1/4. The Mossy Meadow cardstock is 1 3/4 by 5 1/4. All right, so I'm going to put on that strip. Those two pieces were already attached to each other, and I'm just going to put it on the bottom of my card here. All right, and then let's see, I will also, while I'm at it, stamp the inside, keeping in mind now that the wreath needs to cover the greeting. So I have the greeting, May Your Days Be Merry, which was part of that same set, Very Merry. I'm going to stamp it sort of centered here. I know that'll work. Okay, maybe a little bit left just to have a little wiggle room. Okay, May Your Days Be Merry, great. And while we're at it, we can attach this to our card base, which is just a piece of Mossy Meadow that is a regular quarter sheet, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. When we attach that, we can only put adhesive on this L-shaped section, okay? And that will keep the rest of the card free for its great movement. Okay, so I'm going to just put this in place. And I like the liquid glue for some things like this where I might need a little wiggle room. So that looks good. As you can see, this piece is going to be here and cover that greeting on the inside. Okay, so now, as promised, the fun stuff. The wreath, I got this great idea from Dina Rico at Creativity Cave. She's been making a lot of wreaths that I saw on Pinterest. And what I've done is I punched a 2-inch circle in a piece of vellum. I'm going to make a very light pencil line on a piece of scrap Whisper White. Doesn't matter what size, we're going to cut it out later. And that will give me the shape of my wreath. Okay, so you can use different circle sizes. I chose this because I wanted the dimension to fit on these circle framelits that I use to cut these wreath pieces. Okay, Pear Pizzazz is where I started, and what I found was easiest was to take this little evergreen piece that looks like it's kind of curving in or to the right and start with my pear pizzazz and just kind of stay like right inside that pencil line and stamp all the way around the circle. This is really fun to play with. It took me a while to figure out like what designs I liked, but super fun to play with. Okay, I'm going to put that one aside. There's another one just like it that's pretty small like that, that kind of turns to the left and outward on my circle. And I'm just going to alternate putting that in, like kind of in the space where my other ones are coming together. I would not stress over this because we're adding so much to this wreath. You don't really notice any little oddities, or if it's not perfectly symmetrical, it's really not going to matter. Okay, so I've got something going that's just kind of all random, but in a circle. All right, I'm taking the holly leaves now with Mossy Meadow, and I'm going to tap those in as well to add to my greenery. Love it. Super fun. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to make other things with this. I didn't even use the bow in this set, which made me really sad, but I wanted to stop. See how that's coming together already? Okay, what else can we add? Oh, this darling little pine cone. Early espresso is what I did. Excuse me. Okay, so I'm going to tap some of those in every once in a while here. Try not to make it too regular looking. It's kind of hard because, you know, I'm sort of, I guess, programmed that way. Now, if you have any areas that you're not happy with, keep in mind that we're putting a bow on this in the end, so, you know, that'll just be the spot for your bow. Alright, now I've got these cute little berries. I think the berries are, in the end, what make this all work. Like, it totally makes everything pop. I'm just going to kind of randomly put in berries, holly berries. Sweet. That's probably good. Well, I'll go one more. Alright. Alright, so there, just like that, you've got this gorgeous little wreath. You can, it's really actually pretty hard to see that pencil line. You might want to let it dry a little more, but see, I can get in there already and erase any pencil line that you see. Okay, now let's just pretend that I am cutting this out on my Big Shot, and voila. Okay, I've got the cutout piece now. These are circle framelets. Both this Mossy Meadow circle and the Wreath circle are done with the circle framelets. The white one is about 2 3/4. The Mossy Meadow one is just under 3 1/4. Okay, just so you know. Now, the only other critical things here. Okay, let me adhere that to my circle. And okay, I did not do my erasing on this one, so that's okay. I can get the rest later if it shows. I am going to pick the side I like the best to stick out over to the right, and put the bow on the other side. I feel like I don't have enough pine cones on this one. Here, let's do that. Okay, now when you put this in place, the important thing is to make sure that you don't put adhesive on this quadrant behind the mossy meadow where there's no card backing. So actually what I find is easier is to just put the dimensionals on the card base, and then let's see, I'm going to try to center this here. Okay, there we go, and I have a bow that I have already fussed over that I am going to put on with the glue dot. Oh, and there it is. Really classic Christmas cards, really classic Christmas colors, I should say, and a classic look. So, love that. Love the fold. I think, you know, it looks really more complicated than it is. I hope you agree. Thanks for stopping by.